Gonna commit my final shield on the Dragon Claw. Charizard is now dry and 5 wing attacks away from the next Dragon Claw. The opponent realising they're gonna get farmed down, send out Tapu Fini, hoping to absorb the Acid Spray while surprise. Unfortunately for them, we was running Sludge Wave. So welcome back to the home of Shadow Pokemon. My name is Jamie Finn, 1415. If you're new around here, I was the first documented trainer in the world to reach Legend rank only using Shadow Pokemon. That was way back in Season 8. I then done it a further 4 times, 5 in total. Season 8 through 12, so I suppose I know a thing or two about using Shadow Pokemon. And let me tell you, this Shadow Alolan Muk is an absolute monster. We are currently in a Team Rocket takeover event, so make sure you go and hunt Shadow Grimer, remove frustration, because not only is it a fantastic budget pick, I actually think is an out and out top meta threat. I hope today's video convinces you need to go build one. So without any further ado, let's jump into the battles. And in game 1, I led Shadow Hitmonchan into Giratina, pretty dreadful. However, we do have the Ice type coverage. For the endgame, I attempted to catch a Dragon Claw on Drapion. I was unsuccessful. The opponent answered my Drapion safe switch with Obstagoon. I landed the Sludge Bomb. They went for the Obstruct. Knowing that, I think they're going to try and maintain alignment, so I throw the Crunch Bait. The opponent takes the bait, we get the defense drop. Even a Night Slash won't KO despite my IVs being pretty dreadful. We now make the Sludge Bomb. This is huge. The opponent's going to be forced to go down 2 shields or lose switch. The opponent lets it go. Drapion, you absolute monster. It's Cresselia in the back, and now this is looking pretty tricky. However, we have somewhat of a win con. We're up 2 shields, however they send back out Giratina that is going to start unleashing Dragon Claw. After Dragon Claw you can see Muk, still pretty thick, especially for a non-XL. The opponent is now 4 away from the next Dragon Claw, so I'm going to throw 3 poison jabs, get off the Dark Pulse. The opponent lets it go, we go for the Wham Bam combo play into Hitmonchan. Hitmonchan will absorb this energy. We're now saving 2 shields for Alolan Muk. The opponent is going to get CMP tied to the next Dragon Claw. I highly doubt the opponent is going to shield it up. They do not. Hitmonchan still reasonably healthy. If Cresselia looks for the farm down, they're going to be unsuccessful again. I managed to throw on CMP. This is now looking very winnable. The opponent is going to dump energy. They actually hit no bubbles. They are going to get a Psycho Cut farm down. However, we've still got 2 shields. Muk needs to outpace to 2 moves. The opponent is just going to go straight Grass Knot, and I am going to shield absolutely everything. We shield the first. The opponent desperately trying to get to the back-to-back. Muk looking to win the race. We commit that final shield. How close is the opponent to the 3rd Grass Knot? Well, kids, stay in school. Learn to count. They're now 1 away with the sneak. But guess what? I'm also 1 away. Muk wins CMP. Puts the team on its back and clutches up a very, very nice dub. GG's and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next one. We lead Shadow Hitmonchan into Swampert. The opponent doesn't build up to an Earthquake, so I am going to tank the Hydro Cannon. The Hydro Cannon does a lot, however we do survive. It takes them 9 in total for the back-to-back, so I throw on CMP. I'm going to YOLO the close combat. If the opponent lets it go, which they do, I'm going to instantly pivot into Drapion, and the opponent answers with Charizard. I am going to reach a Crunch before the opponent reaches a Blast Burn. It only takes us 5 Poison Stings, where it takes them 7 to a Blast Burn. The opponent builds up to the Blast Burn, and as always I call the bait. The opponent does go for a bait. They throw another Dragon Claw. I hope my Drapion does survive. Do we hang on? No, we don't. Heartbreaking. However, I am going to save shields for Alolan Muk, because this is an Alolan Muk feature. We come in with the Muk. The opponent builds up to what could be a Blast Burn. Tough decision to make. I am going to shield it up. The opponent is a Master Baiter. Nice bait, Mr. Opponent. However, they now send out the Walrus. I pivot into Hitmonchan to force the energy of this Walrus. Walrus goes straight for an Icicle Sphere. It's now Muk versus the world. I overfarm, go straight for the Sludge Wave. The question is, does the opponent respect the damage? They do not. They're now going to get Poison Jab farmed all the way down. Back out comes Charizard, and this is going to be game over. I can safely shield up whatever they throw. Poison Jab farm down, and again Muk coming in clutch. In the next battle, we lead Shadow Hitmonchan into Lapras. The opponent stays in, so I'm going to call. They are weak. I attempt to catch the Surf, and the opponent attempts to catch a move on the Talonflame. The opponent throws after 3. I highly doubt they're going to Brave Bird me. We call the Flame Charger, then throw 2 Poison Stings and the Crunch. When you're using 2 turn versus 5 turn, you ideally want to throw after 2 or 7. So I again throw after 2 for optimal fast move time in the second Crunch. Forces a shield off Talonflame. They've actually double shielded and they've dumped energy. This is pretty great for me. I'm just going to allow Drapion to go down. As they stayed in, I'm calling Hitmonchan is going to be the Donny in this battle, so I come into Muk. I am going to respect just the boosted Flame Charge. This is now double boosted, so it is going to do a lot of damage. I then overfarm as much as I dare. I'm going to go for the Dark Pulse. This will be securing the knockout. I'm going to absorb the energy. On my Muk, the opponent comes into Lapras. They do dump their energy, and it's time for Hitmonchan to absolutely look for the nuke. We come in to Hitmonchan, and it's Registeel. In the back, Reggie has no shields. It's pretty thick, but not thick enough. This close combat, almost one-shots. You love to see it. They get countered down, and the opponent says, fuck that. They're out of here. Hitmonchan this time coming in clutch. Moving on to the next one. The Nightmare lead Hitmonchan into Tapu Fini. We pivot into Drapion. The opponent answers with Obstagoon. We land the Sludge Bomb. The opponent overfarms. This isn't enough for a Hyper Beam, so I'm just going to tank it. The opponent goes for a Night Slash. The opponent now going to be forced to shield. I'm not going for any baits. I'm going to try and go for the knockout or shield advantage. The opponent shields the Sludge Bomb. They then dump energy. That's fine for me. I'm just going to allow Drapion to go down. Cross chop secures the knockout with one more counter. Due to Obstagoon's Dark, normal typing, these counters are double super effective. Hitmonchan tearing them apart. We're going to tank anything they throw. They go for the cross chop. It doesn't do all that much, and it's now time for Muk. We come into Muk. They anticipated we were going to switch out, and they send out Charizard. I am going to call the Dragon Claw. Although the opponent did go for the Blast Burn, I dared the opponent, and they were a master baiter at this stage now. I am just going to double shield both the Dragon Claws. Calling that bait puts us in a prime position to sweep. The opponent might be looking to call a bait themselves, however they do shield up the Dark Pulse. The opponent now goes for one more Dragon Claw. Muk should be able to shield and farm down. If the opponent pivots into the Tapu Fini, they're going to get a very nasty surprise. The opponent sends out the Fini, and hi Fini, bye Fini, eat Sludge Wave, get fucking wrecked, back out, comes Charizard, and again Muk coming in clutch. If you weren't convinced to build Muk already, this battle will definitely convince you. We lead Hitmonchan into Clefable, pretty dreadful. We switch into Drapion, and to my surprise, the opponent stays in. They actually shield the Sludge Bomb. They're looking for the Charm Down, Farm Down, so again, I'm going to YOLO the Sludge Bomb. Surely the opponent doesn't double shield, but they do. What could you possibly have in the back? You've double shielded the Charmer, hoping to feast on my Hitmonchan. Well, surprise. Meet Muk, we come into Muk. I'm going to be absolutely shielding everything. This opponent could be running triple charm, and if they are, Muk looking primed to sweep. I am going to shield up the next Meteor Mash. Commit to the Poison Jab, farm down. Come on, show me the Togekiss, Gramble, whatever you like. It is a Gramble, so I'm just going to get rid of this as soon as possible, as this Gramble will be the most oppressive. I go for an undercharge. It still knocks out. Is Sylveon in the back. Sylveon looking for the Charm Down, Farm Down. However, Muk says, I think not. Another Sludge Wave to the face, and Muk sweeps the entire team. I have no idea why you'd run Triple Charm. However, despite me leading a fighter, my Muk swept the entire team. Moving on to the next one. We'd Hitmonchan into Tapu Fini. Dreadfuls. We do pivot into Drapion. I held my energy, anticipating the switch. They do switch out into the mirror. We're ahead in energy, so I'm just going to spam out Crunch. After Crunch, I attempt to CMP tie the opponent to their charge move. They don't fall for it. You can see I'm running a hundo, so I always win CMP. The opponent has overfarmed. Let's see what moveset they're on. They're actually on Aqua Tail. That means my Hitmonchan doesn't have to be scared of any Sludge Bomb. However, I did actually run Aqua Tail Sludge Bomb in the Great League. The first season I hit Legend, but that definitely isn't the moveset in Ultra. But I'm getting a bit sidetracked, so we are going to come in, counter farm them all the way down and put faith in Muk. Sweeping another team, we do counter farm all the way down. I'm spamming the switch. Tapu Fini stays in. Hello? This can only mean one thing. It must be Trevenant in the back. I shield the Surf. Come on, trainer. Send it out. And there it is. The team read was correct. I'm going straight for the Dark Pulse. The opponent shields it up. We're now in the 1-to-1 shield. We do resist the Shadow Claws and the Shadow Ball. However, it is going to do a lot. The opponent now 5 away from the Seed Bomb, so I'm going to throw 4 Poison Jabs and the Dark Pulse, looking to force the final shield off the opponent. The opponent does shield. I sneak the jab. Muk can now shield this up. We are going to outpace to the next charge move. I'm going to throw it as soon as I get it. I just need to get a couple more Poison Jabs off on this Fini, and we're about to see Hitmonchan is about to be a Tapu Fini counter confirmed. They do resist close combat, but close combat are very hard hitting charge move, and Hitmonchan carries the team. Well, not really, but at least we did take out a Fini. Moving on to the next one. Hitmonchan into Swampert. We know we do tank a Hydro Cannon. I'm going to look to CMP tie the opponent to their second charge move with the close combat. The question is, does the opponent respect the damage? They do not. Another huge boom. We're going to pivot into Drapion, and the opponent answers with Venusaur. They actually stay in, which is pretty questionable. We do resist everything. However, Frenzy Plant, a very good move. It almost does 50% of our HP. The opponent continues to stay in. So I throw the crunch. The opponent lets it go. We now see a pivot into Talonflame. I make a bit of a mistake. I should have threw 2 poison jabs and the crunch. I did not. So I am now at 100 energy. I fire the first crunch. The opponent commits a shield. I know I am going to survive 1 boosted Incinerate, so I am going to shield this up. I'm going to throw 2 and the next crunch. We do survive that, so I'm going to throw 1 as I won't survive the next Incinerate, which means I will get off this next crunch, which is either going to force the final shield or the knockout. The opponent does commit the shield. They're now 1 Incinerate away from a potential boosted Brave Bird as I come into Muk, throw 2 poison jabs, make the catch, and that is going to be all she wrote. They full send the bird. They pivot out into Venusaur. This is game over. We're not even going to respect any move from the Venusaur. We're going to be able to poison jab farm them all the way down, and the opponent concedes the match. So despite me getting in a bit of a mess against the Talonflame, we managed to recover and pull off the dub. Moving on to the next battle. We see another Swampert in the lead. I absolutely love Swampert, but why the fuck am I seeing so many? Hitmonchan doesn't tank these charge moves particularly well. Again, I throw on CMP. Does this opponent respect it? They do not. I don't know what move set Poke was running, but apparently it probably wasn't close combat as no one's respecting it. I pivot into Drapion, and again we're met with a Charizard. This is a pretty common team. I think it's Trevenant in the back. I saw this team, I think 5 or 6 times. I've got no idea where this team's from, but shout out to whatever content creator put it together. If you know, post it down below and I'll go check their video out. But before I get too distracted, you can see I called a bait, I call another bait, and this time Drapion survives on 1 HP and a dream. We make another crunch, the opponent commits both shields, and Muk now again looking prime for a sweep. The opponent probably going to bait me, but I'm not going to risk it this time. The opponent goes for another Dragon Claw. If they don't switch out, we are going to be able to poison jab farm them all the way down. This can only be a Dragon Claw, so I'm not going to shield it up. It does quite a lot of damage. They've got Trevenant. Trevenant has no shields. If you want to know how hard Dark Pulse hits, that hard. They near get 1 shot. We jab them all the way down, and Muk operating as a very, very nice closer. Again, Swampert. Seriously? Let's see if it's the same team. It isn't the same battle, but you already know I'm going to play it exactly the same. I'm going to farm up to the point where they're at 9 counters, throw the close combat. Does this opponent respect the damage? The first person to shield, we've got double poison in the back, so I absolutely am also going to match shields. If the opponent stays in, we would reach the Ice Punch. They actually give up switch, send out their tree, and now it's time for Drapion to have a tasty little snack. The opponent goes for the Seed Bomb. That definitely isn't the play. If you're Trevenant versus Drapion, Shadow Ball hits a lot harder. The opponent lets it go. This again, only a Seed Bomb. We are going to be able to tank it. Poison Sting all the way down. And then if Swampert does return, they're going to also eat a crunch. Swampert, I think, has 1 residual Mud Shot. I don't really care, to be honest. I'm just looking to get rid of it. I throw 1 extra Poison Sting and the crunch. The opponent lets it go, and it's Charizard in the back. So we are going to reach a crunch. Crunch will be doing big damage or draw the final shield, and I'll pivot into Muk because I don't want to get farmed down. I want to see just how thick Muk is. I dare the opponent to send the Blast Burn. They full send the Blast Burn. However, Muk on minimal HP is going to be able to reach the Sludge Wave with the sneak. So I shield up the Dragon Claw, reach the Sludge Wave, and you already know Muk hits like a fucking truck. Get wrecked. GG's, and thanks for playing. Wow, I've got to admit, even myself, who does talk at 1,000,000 miles an hour, is struggling after a 12-hour shift to continue this shoutcast at 2 times speed. So I have turned down the last few battles to 1.8. So hopefully I won't emphasise so many words. I think I emphasise a lot of words because of just how quick these battles are. So we see Hitmonchan into Gliscor. They went for the Night Slash. I knew it was only a Night Slash, so I tanked it. I returned fire with a double super effective Ice Punch. I then caught the next Night Slash onto my Drapion. The opponent got the boost. Are they going to double shield because they got a boost? Yes, they are. This can only be a Night Slash, but it is boosted. Drapion should survive. The opponent gets me very low and send out Cobalion. Cobalion probably would have been the better play. However, the opponent decided to ride the boost, and I'm not complaining. As we've got a 2-0 shield advantage, I can come in With Hitmonchan, I've just got to reach a close combat. I'm on minimal HP. I'm going to shield it up. The opponent should be 2 double kicks away, so that's 3 counters. We reach the close combat on a charge move priority event. I'm going to throw the close combat, pivot into my Muk. Can Muk close another matchup? It's a Walrus in the back. Earthquake will be one-shotting. However, I do walk around with huge cojones. I dare the opponent to send the Earthquake, and I thought not. The opponent then throws another Icicle Sphere. This is an easy shield. I can then overfarm by 5 as I do win CMP. The opponent sends out Gliscor. This is only a Night Slash. I'm getting close to 100 energy, so I throw the Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse will be taking care of Gliscor. We're going to outpace the Walrein to the Sludge Wave, and Muk cleans up another battle in style. There's no need to even ask if it one-shots. We already know it does. Thank you very much, Muk. Moving on to the next one. Absolutely dreadful lead. Deoxys absolutely beats up on Hitmonchan, which is ironic as we're a fighter, so shouldn't we be doing the beating up? However, they answer with their own Shadow Drapion. They actually let me get ahead on energy, and I've got a hundo, so I'm going to win CMP. I get the defense drop, go for crunch. Number 2, this gets Drapion super low. I'm again going to try and throw on CMP just to try and maximize my energy all the time. We are going to easily tank this, so I'm going to throw 5 and the next crunch. We know they've got sludge bombs, so there's no need to worry of an Aqua Tail. I throw on CMP. The hundo coming in clutch. Does the opponent want to give up a shield? They do not. If Deoxys returns, we're going to get a shield or huge damage. Drapion on minimal HP makes another crunch. Let's see what the opponent wants to do. Drapion going on an absolute tear up in the mid game. We forced the shield and got the defense drop. The opponent clears their debuff and send out Obstagoon as a tasty snack for Hitmonchan. Finally, we are doing some beating up. We do counter farm them all the way down. I know Deoxys is going to look for the counter farm down, so I'm going to throw an Ice Punch first for some chip damage. Then I'm going to go for the hard hit in close combat. That also lowers my defense, minimizing the farm. This game is over. I've got no idea what the opponent is hoping for. If you watched today's earlier video, I actually said that Ty's opponent was hoping he had a heart attack. He did not. And if you're watching this video, it's quite apparent I also didn't have a heart attack, because if I did, I wouldn't be able to make it. I think I'm just getting a bit sidetracked because the opponent is wasting my time, so I'm just going to chat some nonsense for a little bit. We're just going to shield up everything, poison jab farm them all the way down. I think the opponent's pretty salty. They picked up a great lead and still managed to balls up. Moving on to the next one. We pick up a great lead. Hitmonchan into Regirock, the big rock, aka Dwayne Johnson. Pivots into its body. Giratina, they go for the Ancient Power. Fishing for the boost. They don't get the boost. I attempt to CMP to the Dragon Claw. The opponent doesn't fall for the CMP. They overfarm again, so I'm going to be forcing a shield or taking them out with the crunch. The opponent does shield it up. I don't need to shield this one. However, the opponent is going to get to one more Dragon Claw, so I will shield the next. As unlike the last opponent, if you're going to RPS someone, make sure you keep alignment. So I shield up the Dragon Claw. I'm going to throw 4 Poison Stings throw on CMP to maximise my energy gain. This isn't the best spot because we are now going to get lock-on farmed all the way down, but not before Drapion spams off a few crunches. This crunch isn't going to do a lot, but if we get a debuff, the second will do substantially more. We don't get a debuff. However, Drapion makes one more crunch. The opponent is going to leave at close to 100 energy. So we do have to be mindful of a potential focus blast. I send out Hitmonchan. It's Pidgeot in the back. This game definitely isn't over. The opponent could YOLO a bird, which is probably their win con. We're calling the Feather Dance. That doesn't do too much damage, but it does double debuff my attack. I'm going for the hard hit in Sludge Wave, hoping the opponent thinks it's an Acid Spray. The opponent shields it up, and now we are looking not in the best spot. Again, I'm going to call the Feather Dance. Muk is going to make one more Sludge Wave unless the opponent dumps their energy. They throw on CMP. Great counting from the opponent. Feather Dance finally takes us out. I come in to Hitmonchan. I'm going to throw the Ice Punch just before the opponent gets to the next charge move. I did pause for one turn to try and prevent a catch. The opponent sends out Regirock. The win con, throw in the nuke. I'm going to call the bait. The opponent clearly needs some practice at masturbating because I didn't fall for it, and we managed to take another game. Holy smokes, I'm glad that shoutcast's over. You can tell from my voice, after a 12-hour shift, the tiredness is setting in. However, we don't have rocket events all that often. We've got around 24 hours left, so my advice to you would be make sure you get a Shadow Muk. It's super cheap to build. You can see it hits really hard. These were hand-selected battles. I've actually done 2 days worth of battles Yesterday I went 15 and 10, and today 19 and 6. I just pretty much tried to put the battles in where Muk was the Donny. Obviously Drapion is an absolute monster, so some battles Drapion did carry the team. I'm not going to showcase that. I did also have a few losses where I was RPS by stuff like Registeel in the back. Obviously this team isn't going to win everything. However, the idea of the video was to showcase Muk, and I hope I managed to do that for you all. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button if you're new. Consider subscribing. I'd just like to say thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.